Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me today. This is the Spicy Pecan Podcast.
Have you ever had a dream that you could do so you could.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining me on another episode of the Spicy Pecan Podcast. Sorry for the delay. It has been such a crazy week with all the news. I'm like, I want to add that. And then as I'm doing my notes this morning, I'm like, this story has been talked about to death. It's just crazy with the 24-hour news cycle how much actually happens. And as we are getting closer and closer to the election, how much crazy shit is just popping. So get through as much as I possibly can. I always forget some stories just because, like I said, there's always so much going on. But in terms of entertainment news, one of the things that kind of popped out at me, did you guys see Megan Thee Stallion's performance on SNL? SNL is definitely hit or miss with me. I've just never consistently been a fan. A lot of their skits just are not funny to me. Just not funny. I have gotten through so many episodes of that show, just like, why the hell did I even waste my time? Even when there's good celebrity appearances or guest stars on there, a lot of it is just dry. But it's still a huge platform, and Megan Thee Stallion was on there. Now, I'm not a huge stan. Like, I don't have posters. I don't have all her music. I don't even think I've heard all of her music. But clearly know who she is. Her performance, I definitely, then again, keeping it all the way real, the performance was subpar. It's not something I was looking at and jumped out of my seat. The Savage song is what it is. It's very popular, but definitely not something that I would say is like the greatest song of all time. But I did appreciate the fact that she... in the middle of her performance, she called out Daniel Cameron, the district attorney that was in charge of the Breonna Taylor case. Very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. He is trying to block information coming out from the grand jury so that there will be some transparency. So basically what that means is he's trying to block us from seeing exactly what happened during those proceedings because what we know is true. He didn't present any information that would support stronger convictions for these murderers, basically murderers with uniforms. So she called him out in the middle of that performance. I thought it was done really well, that portion of it. So shout out to her. And I don't know if you guys have heard, but Tory Lanez was recently charged with her shooting. That whole situation is so frustrating just because you still have so many people defending this grown-ass man for shooting this woman. I don't care what the reason was, honestly. Send that hoe back to Canada. I don't want to see Tory Lanez. I have no desire to. I personally believe Bryson Tiller is way more talented. And there are other artists that are way more talented than this clown that's walking around. Not to deny any of his talent. Obviously, the boy knows what he's doing. Like, he definitely can put out some hits. But not worth it to me. Like, I'll change the station. It's really just not that big of a deal to me. So I fully hope that charges are brought on him, and I hope that he is sent back to Canada. We don't need more men out here who are just overly aggressive, doing things to women without punishment. We don't need an extra body for that. No, we got plenty of deadbeats that are already here. So send her back. Send her back. Thank you. Another thing in celebrity, I don't really get into all of this stuff, but some of it is just so fascinating. There is this woman, her name is Jasmine Wright, and she has been going off. I don't know if you guys have seen these videos, but she's been in the music industry for a very long time, comes from a family that has been in the music industry and are creatives. She knows a lot of people. She is from Philly. So, you know, her mouth is reckless. Shout out to all the girls in Philly. She has allegations for everybody. Okay. She is calling out Diddy. She's calling out Common, said that he sexually assaulted her. She called out Jill Scott. She called out Lauryn Hill. And, you know, one of the things I didn't realize about Lauryn Hill, I did a little research, because with some of this stuff, you just have to be, and even still, even with internet research and all of that, you know, there could still be some discrepancies. But I didn't realize that the miseducation of Lauryn Hill was actually in the middle of a lawsuit. I know that there were lawsuits around, or around the album, but I thought it was all business type of stuff. Oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. It was actually her not giving credit to writers and people who helped her produce the album. She took all the credit. And come to find out, a lot of people have actually said she did not do that album by herself. She didn't write every lyric, you know. Obviously, I'm not an artist, so I don't know what the process is when you are in the studio. And I'm not even faulting anybody for getting help. I mean, of course, you putting out an album, and back in the day, what the Miseducation was, let's just say it was at least 12 tracks. That is very hard to put an entire body of work out with no help. But the amount of help that she got, she's just acting like she did it all by herself. So it's kind of interesting because Lauryn Hill's reputation really does sit on that album. Her whole legacy sits on that album. So the fact that it's, has been and is in question as to how much work did she actually do on the album. And that's not to take anything away from Lauryn Hill. Obviously, the girl is very, very talented. We've seen her work outside of the album on many different projects. But the fact remains is any music that she has put out after that has not done well. Hasn't. And it does kind of make sense that, her exile or her disappearance from the music industry has something to do with the work that was done on that first album. Maybe she does have regret about the first album, or realize that because she took all the credit, how am I going to then turn around and do another album and do that again without people finding out? So, but this girl is really, she said that she woke up and Common tried to put his in her mouth while she was sleeping. Listen, I'm not trying to laugh about that. That was more of a nervous laughter. And obviously, I don't know whether this girl is telling the truth or not. She had words about Talib Kweli. He made a statement. But the thing is, no one's suing her. I haven't seen anyone sue her. And people with money sue like water, especially if their opponent is not someone who matches their wealth. You sue people like nothing. So the fact that she's outing all of these people, she had words for a lot of different people. The stuff that she says about Jill Scott and Erykah Badu is wild. But take these type of things with a grain of salt. These are real people's lives. They have children, they have family. And we don't know who, what, why, where. It's all allegations. But I just thought, I'm like, God, I was watching one interview that was conducted by Storm Monroe. I don't know if you guys are subscribed to him. It's the first time I even, watched. I've heard the name, but first time I ever actually watched a program. And homegirl was going off. And I'm not saying that she seems totally off either. Like, a lot of stuff she was saying kind of made sense. It really did. I'm not going to lie. But, damn, to go about it like that, that's rough. That's rough. So let's hop over to some news. Obviously, everybody's seen the debates. I think the winner of the debate was The Fly. Even though I think Mamala did awesome. I really do. I think she did awesome. There were certain questions that she didn't want to answer. I'll give you the answer. They are going to stack the courts. If this nomination goes through, they are absolutely going to stack the courts. Why? And, what does that mean when people say stacking the courts? So everybody keeps hearing about this Trump Supreme Court nomination. They are pushing this through, even though they didn't allow Obama to do the same thing when a seat came up. Okay? It is what it is. We already know they're hypocrites. But when this goes through, when this woman that, and I'm totally drawing a blank on her name, but when this Supreme Court justice goes through, if Biden wins, what they're going to do is they're going to open more seats, because what's happened in the Trump administration is, obviously these are lifetime appointments. When you get the gig, you in there for life. Okay. It takes a lot, damn near impossible, to get a Supreme Court justice unseated. All right. They pretty much have to die or retire. So I'm keeping it real with you right now. Yes, they're absolutely going to stack the courts, because it's going to be impossible to start putting out policy when your courts will not match that same energy. So if you have all these, judges that are conservative Republicans, it is going to be extremely hard to push any progressive agenda forward. And progressive is what we need. We are riding on old governmental bodies that never worked for minorities, never really worked for, women, never worked for disenfranchised communities. And as the country tries to push forward and have the Constitution ring true, meaning land of the free, home of the brave, land of the free, a lot of these things don't represent that. That's why progressive movements need to happen. The civil rights was a progressive movement. And if it wasn't for the civil rights movement, you as a woman would not be able to vote. You as a gay person would not be able to get married. When they say the left and progressive, that is what we should be moving towards. It's like someone doing this exact same thing for years and years and years, and it don't work. Well, what kind of society are we if we are not identifying those things and fixing them? That to some people is progressive. That to me is moving with the times. A lot of people keep injecting their religion in politics. Your religion has nothing to do with politics. Nothing. How you choose to live your life individually is how you choose to live your life individually. The fact that you have some Christian beliefs or Muslim beliefs, you're allowed to have those in this country, but it shouldn't affect what happens at schools. It shouldn't affect what happens in courts. Your morals, your moral standards in terms of religion are just that. They're yours. America's supposed to be run with what is best for the group, what is best for most people, what is going to be best for the population as a whole. So when they say, left and progressive, they're really just talking about change, because some people don't want anything to change because the system is working for them, or they have been brainwashed to believe that it is. So that's just my little but the memes about the fly, oh my God, you guys had me dying. And I know everybody saw that fly crip walking across his head. It was just so funny and so perfect. So perfect. We need these little injections of karma every once in a while. And, my Facebook response to that was, of course there's a fly on his head. He's a piece of shit. And I'm not. And again, people keep thinking that, what you guys think that Biden and Kamala are gonna, or why do I keep saying Kamala? See, that's from doing my research, because you got to watch the opposition. You got to watch Fox News every once in a while so you know how crazy the other side is getting. Mamala, I'm just going to start calling her Mamala because I think it's funny. Miss Mamala, no, I don't think that these people are going to change the world. I don't believe they're so progressive that, we're going to see changes at the blink of an eye. I think that we need to come back to at least some sense of normalcy. And my biggest thing is we have to get the virus under control so that we can get the economy rolling again. You can open up businesses, you can open up schools, all you want. Yeah, you could do that, but you're going to have to keep closing them. We are absolutely going to keep having outbreaks because you haven't taken care of the initial problem. Until you have contact tracing, until you have things in place where people can get tested right away, you're not going to be able to get it under control. You're just not. That's why you still have people like Oprah. You still have people like Bill Gates, basically, shut in their house with limited access. They ain't letting every cousin and, person come into their house right now. Still, no. Why? You haven't gotten it under control. And you can't look at what other countries are doing and mimic that and not mimic the things that they have in place. Oh, this country is, their schools are open. Yeah, my guy, they got things under control. They have contact tracers. So when you get infected, they have people calling all of the people that you have been in contact with, letting them know that they need to be quarantined so they can stop it. So they can stop the spread. We're not doing that. We're still having fights about whether people want to wear masks or not. It's absolutely ridiculous. But they were talking about, did you guys see Pence's eye? That bloodshot eye? What? I don't even know what that is. I have no idea. I know that there was an article that said that can happen when you do have coronavirus because something to do with your immune system. I'm not good with science or medical. Like, you will not get me really to talk about anything that has to do with medical. I leave that to the experts. That is not something that I'm well versed on at all. I actually was putting together a desk earlier this week. And that's another reason why I didn't put the podcast out on Thursday. I wanted to set up my, new little workstation. I'm more than likely going to be going to video very soon. But I bust my hand open because I like to do everything by myself. I bust my hand open putting this desk together. I didn't even realize it. I had like a whole piece of skin hanging off. And all you saw was my old ass running around the house trying to figure out what the hell I was going to do because I had no idea what to do with this. I had a bubble underneath it. It was, just a mess. So anyway, bloodshot eyes. I have no idea what that is, but that was creepy as hell. Here's my theory on Trump. If anyone has ever watched the show Shameless, Trump to me is that exact same character, only with money. Grimy, shady, always looking out for number one, not giving two shits what the ramifications are for other people, even if they're family members or people who have had your back. That is Trump to me. Trump is Frank mother effing Gallagher. He is grimy. He will look out for himself. He doesn't care about his kids. He doesn't care about the people who have rode for him. As we can clearly see, because every mother effer gets fired that tries to say anything to him or opposes him in any way, shape, or form. The doctors that work for him, they were talking about his treatments that he was recently getting. And he basically said, yeah, the doctor has no idea what he's talking about. I had a conversation with him. What? It is what it is, So now they're saying that Trump is not going to participate in the debate because it's virtual, and more than likely there will be a mic shut off. Because it's virtual, you can basically mute somebody, and he doesn't want that because his whole tactic is to distract. They'll ask a question, he'll evade the question by talking about something totally different, and then just disparaging the person, that is, Biden basically is what it would be. But, yeah, so who knows I don't even think anyone needs a debate at this point. I think everyone pretty much knows who they're going to vote for in terms of the presidential race, and even, the House seats that are up. I think everyone pretty much knows which way they're going to go. What I want to just kind of touch on, though, is local elections. In terms of the New Jersey ballot, really, really important, especially if you are a Camden resident, okay? If you are a Camden resident, the school board is up for re-election. And this is really, really important. Really important, okay? Camden One United has the best platform moving forward. You have an entire group of people. It's 3 people, and I believe the group is called the Greater Schools of something. But they're being promoted by a nonprofit in like the New England area. I think it's Rhode Island or Maine. One of those cities are basically providing a lot of the funding for the advertisement for this group. If it does not say Camden One United, you do not want to select that on your ballot. What basically happens in New Jersey, specifically in Camden, is you have Democrats that run, or Republicans rather, Republican influenced people running as Democrats. And we've seen this because this is what Donald Trump did. Donald Trump was a Democrat for years, okay? But he decided to run on the Republican ticket because of obvious reasons. We see all of the reasons. But we have had that problem in Camden, New Jersey for a very long time. So you have representation that is going as Democratic, but they are not. So the suggestion, I've spoken to several activists in the Camden, New Jersey area, and everyone is pretty much on the same accord. Camden, that's actually called One Camden United. And the candidates are Janelle McRae, Kevin Ruiz Baroa, and Aaron Cooper. All right. Most or all have been lifelong residents of Camden, New Jersey, and have been very active in education for a very long time. A lot of the people that I work with, I'm a member of the NAACP. A lot of people that I work with have worked alongside these folks and know that their intentions are well. And the thing is Camden is going to be gentrified. We can see it already happening on the waterfront, downtown, all of that. The attempt, and it's clear as day because they had a nerve in the middle of a pandemic to up the taxes in the third quarter, which I've been told is illegal as hell. So the movement to get people out of the city is very, very strong, specifically in certain areas. So they want to push people out. If we don't handle the education system, it means that your children could be pushed out of certain schools. So that brand new facility, Camden High, let's say you need to make some grades to get there, and they start busing people from other cities into that school, which means it's harder for your kid that lives around the block to get in that school. There's a lot of different things that can happen within the education system that only serves to be a trickle-down effect into later problems in the city. That's why there was such a big fight to get the education system back into the hands of residents. When you have state control, that means that they can decide to do anything, and they did. So, real big push for that. One Camden United. Let's get these people in. Another big thing that was on the ballot was recreational marijuana. You already know how I feel about that. Check yes, 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 yes. What does it mean? It means potentially more jobs. It also means people can get their backgrounds expunged if they have been picked up by an offense that has to do with marijuana, which has destroyed a lot of people's lives, especially in New Jersey. With these fines and things like that, let me give you an example. I was working in Lindenwold, New Jersey, for about a year. And in that time, I racked up a couple of tickets, okay? I paid off all the tickets, but those tickets then come with surcharges. One of them, because I didn't have my license on me, I was just grabbing lunch for the office. I didn't have my license on me. So they gave me a 3-year surcharge. What does that mean? That means that if I'm not being completely vigilant, if mail doesn't come to the house, if I'm not receiving these things on time, I would have never known that I had a surcharge that was due. And it always seems like by the time you get it in the mail, you got like 2-3 days to come up with $100-$200. And that's how they get you. Because then if I don't make that payment, they're going to tack on other charges. And it's a revolving cycle. And it only happens to poor people. I was able to pay this off no problem. But let's say if I didn't have it. And let's just say I didn't have it. I just don't have it. Whatever the circumstance is, I am screwed. Even though this was a non-violent offense, I didn't have my license because I was picking up lunch. I just, jumped in the car, grabbed, everything real quick. Just picking up lunch. Turned into 3 years of surcharges and a big ticket. It's absolutely insane. What good does that do anybody? What good does that do the state other than getting the money? Does that mean that I'm never going to forget my license again? Does that mean that I hurt somebody or ruined somebody's life or, I did something so crazy? No. It's just another way that they keep bodies in these court systems and keep racking up money. And if they're real lucky, they may be able to cuff your ass because you owe so much. And then that's when the money really pours in because they really want you in a bed in a prison. So I wanted to touch on one more thing because of the stuff that I'm seeing on social media. And I wrote out this whole thing, but I'm not even going to read it. It seems to me that I wouldn't say every person that supports Trump is racist, but it seems very clear that all of the extreme racist groups support Trump. So what does that tell you? You have, my nigga, you kidnapping people? You trying to kidnap people? Word? Everybody had so many words to say when they saw those black militias out there. So many words. But not one person was hurt. Not one person got killed. Nothing. But these white supremacists are killing people. And you don't hear the people who kept talking about rioting. You don't hear them say shit about it. They don't say anything about it. You don't see a big push of other Trump supporters saying, hold up, you guys are hijacking the moment. You can't do this. That's not what this is about. This is about our core Republican beliefs. They can't say that because they're not even real Republicans. This was not the Republican Party. I protested Bush, but Bush did not fan the flames of these people at all. Not that I could see, not in a real way where you see actual movements of people in pickup trucks with all Trump signage and long rifles. You didn't see any of that. The same people who had so much to say about Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is not responsible for the deaths of people. But you have Trump supporters trying to kidnap people. And you don't have a movement within the party to say, hold up, you guys are hijacking the moment. That is not what we stand for. I don't agree with what these people are doing, but you cannot do this and you are ruining our messaging. No, they're not saying that at all because you're not ruining their messaging. This is exactly what they want. They're fine as long as the victims are black, brown, and anybody that opposes them. They are fine if you laid out on the street dead because but you were in opposition to their movement. It is absolutely insane and it's criminal. Check your Facebook. The same people that were talking about rioters, see if they've said anything about these extremist groups that are waving Trump flags, threatening and killing people and plotting to kidnap people. See if they're doing that. I guarantee you they're not. Because I personally checked on my Facebook of the same people that were talking about rioters, and I don't see them saying shit. So that's my word for this week. More than likely, I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. I was thinking about going back to every week platform, possibly incorporating video. It's been a little difficult just because you may actually hear there's been construction where I'm living right now. So it's been actually pretty difficult to get these podcasts out for the moment. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you think every week would be a little better. Give me some ideas of topics that you would like to hear. As always, I appreciate the support. Thank you for allowing me to have my rant. I appreciate it. And listen, there was one more thing I totally forgot to mention. On the New Jersey ballot, there's also question 3. My suggestion is to click off no. You do not want anyone to be changing the Constitution just because it's going to take a little longer for results to come in due to COVID. Okay, so click no. Ask some advisors around you what they think, but that's my personal opinion. No. We're not changing constitutional laws just because it's going to take a little longer to get results in from COVID. Make sure you're reading all the questions. Make sure you read the instructions on the ballot. Get your vote in. If anything you have seen on the news has pissed you off, scared you, get your vote in. This is not a time to try to be cute and, my vote don't matter. That's bullshit. If your vote didn't matter, you wouldn't have a president right now trying to mess with the mail. When has mail ever been a problem? They've been delivering mail on horse and buggies. Mail is one of the oldest institutions that we have. And postal workers pride themselves on the fact that they get up and deliver your mail regardless of what's going on. So the fact that we have somebody trying to suppress the vote by messing with the mailing system, that tells you right there that your vote absolutely does count. It matters in every single election. And if you've gotten anything out of the past 4 years, it is that you do not just vote in the presidential races. You vote in every race. Every race. Don't allow anyone to silence you. So be blessed, people. Thank you so much for listening. I love you. Thank you for listening to Spicy Pecan Podcast.